So The Flash didn't open to great box office numbers in its opening weekend, only bringing in $55 million in its opening weekend, but in the second weekend, it's dropped over 75%, meaning that the movie only brought in $13 million in the second weekend, placing it as the fourth grossing box office film over the past weekend, which when you compare it to many other blockbuster movies from DC and Marvel, that is a really big drop, and that is a really bad performance, and it's actually placed The Flash as the worst performing DC movie of all time financially. And all of this is arguably because of Ezra Miller, because a year ago he was convicted of multiple heinous crimes and pled guilty to a few of them in court himself, and was also caught on body cam footage assaulting people and assaulting police officers. Many people didn't want to support a movie with him being in it, and that's fair enough. I completely understand why many fans didn't want to go out and watch that film, and in a way support his career by giving him another blockbuster success. So many fans just didn't want to go and watch the film, and that's why this movie didn't make much money at all. And that's why even though it has okay reviews, they're not great, but they're not bad, the movie still didn't get a lot of money because fans just didn't want to watch Ezra Miller in a film and didn't want to support a company that was allowing the film to go ahead despite him being convicted of multiple crimes. But what's interesting is that recently James Gunn appeared on Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You podcast, and he made a few comments about superhero films and why they're not making as much money as they were before, and he said a lot of it is due to superhero fatigue. He said that there's so many superhero movies now, fans don't know how to keep up, and that's why they're not making money. And he also said that all of the superhero movies are similar and that you need to shake up the formula if you want your movie to do well.
And it's and they've gotten too generic. Like there's this sort of genre tone that so many superhero movies have, as opposed to having, very different genres.
There is a bit of me that looks at that as a bit of an excuse. It's like he's blaming the fact the movie didn't make a lot of money on the fact that there's superhero fatigue, when obviously that's not the reason this film didn't make a lot of money, because you can go and look at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, you can also go and look at Spider-Man No Way Home last year, and see plenty of superhero movies that can bring in hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. So you can't blame the fact that this film was the worst performing DC movie of all time on superhero fatigue. That just comes across as an excuse, and also comes across like he's pinning the failure on the fans again, which he has done in the past, as he has come out with multiple tweets in the past attacking fans and blaming fans for why movies don't succeed and why films have bad reviews. And a lot of the times whenever there's a movie he's associated with that fails, he usually takes to Twitter to end up attacking fans and blaming them for why his movie didn't do well. And in a way it comes across like a slight dig at fans again, because with him saying that they're fatigued from superhero movies and that's why the movie didn't do well, it is a bit of an excuse. And it doesn't really make sense, because many people who go to these superhero films have been going to them their whole life. And so many big movies, especially in the superhero genre like Avengers Endgame, comes after 20, 30 years of people watching superhero movies and reading superhero comics. When a movie's good, people are going to watch it. When a film is actually of a high quality, people will watch it and people will like it and give it good reviews, and in turn make it a lot of money. So you can't blame superhero fatigue for why a film drops 75% in its second weekend. That's obviously a reflection of the film and a reflection of Ezra Miller and a reflection of DC, and not superhero fatigue in any way, shape or form. And he also mentioned how you need to break the superhero formula in order for the movie to be successful, but with The Flash being James Gunn's first project with DC, it did anything but break the formula. It used the same age-old formula as many superhero movies have in the past, and what Marvel's doing right now, which is use a multiverse and go back in time and change things. We're also going to see it with Indiana Jones 5. So many films have done this in the past, and many fans have come out saying they're sick of multiverses, because it seems like every movie nowadays deals with multiverses and time travel, and they didn't want to watch it again. Yet he came out with his first DC project and made it a multiverse movie. So then you can't come out and make comments saying that you need to shake up the formula and that's how you can be successful, and then do anything but shake up the formula, because once again it shows that it was just lazy writing when it came to The Flash, and obviously lazy marketing with him coming out and calling it the greatest superhero movie of all time, and then the movie being anything but that. So it's obviously just been a big lazy situation from DC, where they're using any situation they can to try and bring in more profit and try and bring up the reviews, when in turn they just make made a poor film, and the film not doing well financially and not doing that great with the critics is just a reflection of the film. It's not anything else, it's not society, it's not culture, it's not the fans, it's not toxic audiences. No, it's the movie wasn't good. We've seen heaps of films recently make a lot of money, and obviously Barbie's gonna make a lot of money, Oppenheimer's gonna make a lot of money, Mission Impossible is gonna make a lot of money, so it's not the fans, it's always a reflection of the film. If the film is of quality, then it will make money. If the film isn't, then it won't. End of story. That's how it works when it comes to Hollywood. And James Gunn knows this, so obviously he is just making an excuse to take the pressure off him and also to take away all of the talk around Ezra Miller and why DC still haven't let him go. And that's another topic I wanted to bring up in this video. Why have DC still not said anything about Ezra Miller? I could understand leading up to the Flash movie, they didn't want to talk about Ezra Miller because they wanted the focus to be on the film and not on Ezra. That makes sense. But now the movie's out, they still haven't said anything. It's now been 2 weeks, and they still haven't opened their mouths to talk about Ezra Miller. They haven't fired him, they haven't let him go. There's even been some talks of a sequel, and even some talks of DC and Warner Brothers supporting him through rehab and a mental health journey, whatever that means. When in reality, he committed many crimes, and there have been people in the past that they've been so quick to cancel just through allegations. Nothing was proven, yet they cancelled many actors in the past. But with Ezra Miller, when he pleads guilty, when he's caught on body cam footage assaulting people and assaulting police officers, and also was accused of grooming a 12-year-old girl, he's not cancelled, he's not kicked out of DC, and they put out a huge blockbuster movie with him. And like I said, I understand they didn't talk about him leading up to the movie, but I expected as soon as the film came out for them to release a press statement saying that they're going to move away from Ezra Miller and that they're going to cast someone else as the Flash, or just completely scrap the whole Flash from the DCU. That would have made sense. That's what many people expected, yet they've still remained silent, and I don't understand why. At the end of the day, it just goes to show how little these big studios actually care about anything other than their own financial interests. Because if they were to fire Ezra Miller before The Flash came out, as soon as he was convicted of these crimes, then the movie wouldn't have made any money at all, or they would have had to scrap the whole movie as a whole and not make a single dollar off it. So they remained silent and didn't mention his name and kept him on the books so the movie could make some money, and then when the movie comes out, they still don't say anything and still don't mention Ezra Miller's name because they're probably planning a future with Ezra Miller because they want to build the world around the Flash and keep him in there so they can make more money with the DCU. When they always come out and they make these big political statements and they make movies trying to push political narratives and act like they care so much about social justice and social issues, when in reality they have someone that they're paying, a major star in their films, who's been convicted of multiple crimes, yet they've remained silent because it suits their needs financially and suits everything they want to do in the future. So it shows how little they actually care about any of these social justice issues. In reality, all these big studios actually care about is making money and making profits, and that's been so evident and clear with the Ezra Miller situation. And James Gunn, who I actually like as a filmmaker and think he's really talented as a storyteller, is in a bit of a weird situation here, because by him remaining silent about Ezra Miller, it either shows that he supports Ezra Miller or doesn't care about Ezra Miller but just cares about money and profits, or it shows that he's being controlled by above. And not one of those situations reflects well for James Gunn and makes him look good in any way, shape or form, or reflects well for DC. So it kind of puts James Gunn in a weird situation where I like him as a filmmaker and many fans still enjoy him as a filmmaker, yet they are questioning his integrity and questioning how much he actually cares about anything other than making money, because if he did have a slither of care, he would have come out and said something about Ezra Miller like many people have done in the past. The whole situation is weird and the whole situation doesn't really make sense at all. And the overall lack of decency with these big companies is really shining through at the moment, and it makes me sad because there are so many other great studios that are making great projects and not pushing any sort of political agenda or any sort of narrative. They're just making great stories from many different cultural backgrounds, and they're amazing, like A24 A24 or some of the Sony projects like Call Me By Your Name, and there's a few other that I can't remember off the top of my head, but A24 is a great example of a studio that just focuses on creating great films and creating great content. They don't say anything political, they don't push any agendas, they just make great movies from different cultural perspectives, from different sides, and that's what art and filmmaking is meant to be about. Yet for some reason, pop culture continues to push these big studios who make absolute rot and just push an absolute stupid agenda that no one cares about when it comes to filmmaking, and no one from either side of the political spectrum has been enjoying these projects, and that's why they're not making money, yet A24 stays silent and no one seems to talk about their projects. So if you do actually want to watch good films, I recommend companies like A24, and don't go and watch these DC projects, because at the moment they've been absolutely ridiculous and they're just not high quality cinema the way they used to be. But what are your thoughts on this whole Flash situation and the whole box office disaster for The Flash? Let me know down below in the comments. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on my next video.